there we go. We have Carl Townend on pole position here after his maiden win of the season last time out, earlier today. Oliver Smith will take that second place there, and well, he'll be very pleased to be starting second, although knowing he wants to try and take another win to make it 3 wins in this season. Heinrich Watson Miller, will keep your eyes out for him because he came all the way through the field to that third place finish ahead of Matthew Fox, and then we will have Mitchell Fasania, who looked so strong at the start of the race but then had difficulty as the race went on, and Ben Oliver will join him on that third row of the grid. Sam Edmondson and John Bound, they'll be on row number 4, and then we've got a few more rows to go through, ladies and gentlemen, so without further ado we'll shortly go to row number 5. And there's Richard Northridge there starting 9th ahead of Richard Davies, the big shock there, championship leader, really struggling in race 1. Georgie Tuffin and Rob Hicks line up on row 6, and row 7 it's Stephen Fisher and James French, and Archie Kennedy Dyson and Oliver Walsh will be starting on row number 8. Then we'll come to rows 9 through to what I do believe row 11, and we see Richard Watson starting 17th ahead of Luke Wilson, with Mark Hensler and Joe Oliver completing a top 20 and Jason Spencer 21st. But bear in mind, we did have retirements for Joe Oliver and Jason Spencer in race number 1. Hopefully we'll get to see them back in this one, Chris.
Yeah, I hope so too. And yeah, Carl Townend then starting on that pole position. Not going to be too long before we get them off this grid, I think, as we can see. Indeed, land there and they're up.
And it's lights out and away we go, just like that. Perfect timing as Carl Townend gets a good start there, but look who started full by him. Matthew Fox attacking non-stop here as they make the way into that first braking zone, but as they come on through, all right, now let's wait and see what it's going to be. Foxy tries to go around the outside. Can he get it done? However, Watson Miller as well, phenomenal start from him, but unfortunately he got boxed in on that tight line and coming all the way through right now. Not quite working out there, but Watson Miller definitely eager to make a good impression. But here they come down the hill for the first time in this race, and everyone right now too wide. They get very brazen, our Roadsport riders out there as they roar the way through, and we're immediately now into single file formation here as they make the way back up the hill and up towards McLean's. But at least this time it looks like Carl Townend holding on, but he blocks a phenomenal start from him, Chris.
Yeah, I think he was 4th to the lead, wasn't he, in the turn 1, and actually I think he might have got it back as they're heading up towards us again. Certainly the 2 yellow machines out front as they came towards us. Let's have a look around Coppice this time to see who emerges in the lead. It looks like is that Fox or is that Cantona? It's hard to tell at the moment as they go through, but it's now actually it's Watson Miller who finds himself in the lead then going down. They're going to take that extreme inside line. They're going defensive early. There's not really any room down there, but they're all jostling, all barging. Fasania looking to see what he can do. Fox now back into 4th place, Townend into 3rd, it's Oliver Smith into the 2nd place. So it's all topsy-turvy in that first lap as they try and settle into that kind of more natural order at the moment. They're certainly looking to take a little breath as it got a little bit tight into the chicane that time through.
Oh, indeed, as they make the one to lap number 2, Heinrich Watson Miller loses out there to Ollie Smith, and the only reason we know it's Ollie Smith is that licence plate, not because we know the door and I've read every of those lines, but as they make the way on through, Smith retakes that lead for a brief moment, but Heinrich Watson Miller absolutely incredible. Remember, starting 12th in race 1, finished 3rd in this one, making his intent very clear. He's not happy with the podium, he wants a win today. But behind him is Townend, then Fox, then Fasania, who's in 5th, holding off. Where's Oliver behind? And then we do have Northridge in 7th place, at a Bond, Emerson and French at the moment. They can all chop and change, but the speed right now of our Roadsport machine is such that as they make the way up the hill this time, he's in the top 4, starting to break away a little bit, and that's fine for Fasania and Oliver. But they need to make a decision sooner rather than later. Do they fight or do they settle it down? Because they will lose those leaders as further back Hicks and Kennedy getting very firm for 15th place there, but opening pair of laps, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Roadsport just settling themselves a little bit in this second lap, which is good to see, so they can settle into this race, have a look around them, see who is around them, work out what their tactics might be. And remember, this is a long old 20 minutes out there, so 20 minutes doesn't sound very long, does it? But when you're absolutely fighting tooth and nail every single corner, it definitely feels like it. All of us hold on for that whole entire lap, and Watson Miller's just decided that he's happy to watch. Easy to spot with his slightly higher roll cage. We could fit most people into our cages without an issue, but we do have to have the driver a certain distance below that roll cage for safety reasons. And yeah, we've got that high roll cage just in case we need it, and with Watson Miller, we do need to utilise it just to keep him nicely tucked underneath that roll cage as they all then head around Hollywood and down into the Cranicos. One of the most famous set of corners in British motorsport. If you've ever been on a track day, you'll know how wonderful it is to flow a car down and over that hill, and really does the car's fighting against you. The track and the gradient, you can see how it's still downhill, sweeping away from them, so you're trying to push as hard as you can, but gravity is trying to drag your car away from you, of these Roadsport showing what skills they built up in their academy year last year, and now turn themselves with a quicker anti-roll bar change at the rear and these new Nova ZZS tyres, and off they go into Roadsports, and what a sight that is.
Oh, indeed, a beautiful sight here, and Orange Drive's really cool and composed. They make the way on around, but right now, Ollie Smith absolutely trying to run away with this as quickly as he can. He's definitely trying to get the move on here, and it's not just because he wants to get this race over so he can get on the road, but it's the simple reason, if he can make a break early on, he will be a lot safer. But right now, it's staying. Watson Miller staying with him. It's that fight for third. It does seem as though Matt Box at the moment has come to a bit of an understanding with Townend, and we saw this in race 1 from Townend. He was very tactical for the first 15 minutes. He didn't want to fight too much. He just simply swapped back and forth, and it's what enabled him to then get into that position to attack for the win in race 1. But will Carl Townend be able to do again? We'll have to see. Is here comes Fox looking around the outside. That's a poke. It's not going to work out there versus Watson Miller, but I think he's just saying to Heinrich right now, look at me, don't look in front, look in your mirrors instead. Forget about that braking tone that you need to hit, and getting distracted is a very big thing.
Absolutely, yeah, distracting, and one person who's not making that progress, Davies, who obviously we saw in that league battle nearly throughout the whole of the last race, had that issue, dropped him down later on in the race. He found himself slightly up in 8th place, but now has dropped back down to 9th, so he's not got it all his own way. So look for his red car with the black nose cone, but he's not making his way to the front of the field quite as quickly as maybe he wants, but I think he's still roughly within contact. Is that him on the outside there? It's hard to tell. I think it is. So he's just not making his way through that big pack, and Vischer was overtook a couple of Ford cars in that last time, so he's still stuck in that battle.
He is frustrating for Davies because he knows he's got the pace to win races. He's seen that because the first 2 meets of the season he absolutely led the way in for races. While Frankenstein's was a blip, and well, he was trying to prove it was a blip, but so far it hasn't been a blip. It actually seems to have been a bit of a momentum loss for him. But as they all come through, we go 3 wide once again in the fight for third place. So it's in the fight for second. In fact, it's second now, and Watson Miller is definitely feeling it as the wheel guard there decides to raise itself, and let's get a little bit of aerodynamic drag, but nothing too critical as they come on through. But look at Smith right now. You can tell he wants to be the leader of this race through and through. He's going defensive before he even got a third of the way down the straight.
Wheel arch just saying hello, isn't it? Waving away. It will be a bit of a distraction, and if you're using any of your markers and lining your wheel up, you've got to readjust for that. Yeah, more of a distraction than anything else. He will just sit there and it just will flap away for the rest of this. But yeah, absolutely, Oliver is acting as that resistant force, but they've still got the pace in that car to be able to drag this front 3 away. So Townend has lost a little bit of connection with that front 3. So maybe if I was sat in that second and third place, I might think, well, okay, we're making enough ground here that I'm happy that things change so quick. Vasani is still absolutely involved as well, and really, he had a like last time, again putting pushed back in with not enough time to recover back through. So he's got a bit of work to do, as then there is a significant back to this next battle pack of drivers, and is Davies in the front or the second pack? It's hard to judge, but yeah, he will not quite where he wants to be right now, that's for sure.
Well, Davies at the moment in 8th place. I think he has managed to latch himself towards the back, well, in fact to the front of that second pack. He's 3 seconds behind the top 7 at the moment. He's got a lot of work to do, but it's not impossible. It's all going to come down to his pace, plus also how exactly the top 7 want to play this out. Right now, Smith is dictating the fact that he does not want to give up track position whatsoever. I mean, track position, it's only vital when you get to that finish line. You need to be the one who gets across it first, but understanding right now, he's trying to show to everyone, no, I want to lead every lap of the race. And some drivers are like that. Their attitude is they don't want to give up ground. Coming out of Redgate Bend there, you can see that Watson Miller still glued to the back. Northridge at the back there, pulling away a little bit from the top 6. He's at risk of losing them at this rate. Here we do see the 2 wide through the grain of curves. That is going to be Townend trying to go inside to outside. That's not going to work. Sonia goes defensive and will cover off that 4th place for now as they need to head back up the hill. And understandably at this point, it's all that positioning between them all. And well, from the driver's perspective, Chris, I mean, they know each other quite well, so they'll know the different attitudes or the behaviours of their rivals. And that becomes a big part just as much as what you actually do in the car itself. The
game of strategy involves the players, and you really do have to know your drivers, and they will get to know each other even better, obviously, as they go through this course. They've done a whole season together in the academy, and then they've upgraded to Roadsport, and they will continue that battle. But one person, Watson Miller, so we spoke in the first race, he really hasn't had any good results up to now, but something has clicked this weekend, and it's not just a single pace lap, is it? He's absolutely clicked with the strategy and how do you race this Donington circuit, because he has been firmly in that front battle. As soon as he recovered from qualifying, his win has gone now. It is sat in the middle of the track, which is not ideal because you don't want that caught under the front of your racetrack. It's a bit like driving on ice at that point, but it's absolutely something that's clicked, and you do see that in the Roadsport season. The tyres make more sense, the more stability in the car makes more sense, and then suddenly you'll find cars and drivers who just, it wasn't working for them, suddenly it does, and it's great to see that progression.
Oh, 100%, and keep in mind he's had no top 10s, no top 5s, and indeed right now he's going to completely blow his way through, and boy, he's already made up to 1 podium. Can he make it 2 today, if not a win? Then maybe turn around and given the drop scores, it could actually put him gradually in contention for a top 5 in the championship. There we do see the debris from Austin Miller's car that's just pointed upwards at the bone, and hopefully nobody finds the way over to it. And what can happen, to be fair, is that if there's a big enough gap in the field, a marshal may quickly run over and actually move it, because they're quite lightweight parts, I do believe. You can really pick it up with both hands.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like it's fiberglass, so it really doesn't weigh anything at all, but it's not something you want stuck underneath your front wheel. You know, if the car makes contact, it can break into shards, and obviously that's not good for punctures and whatever else. It was just deposited at the end of the chicane. The wind will tend to blow it off the racing line. Let's see what happens this time through. Then as Oliver Smith drives us through, Watson Miller in that second place, and Matt Fox takes us through third. So it's still in the middle of the track. Hopefully the draft here will start moving it to the right. Not on that immediate racing line, but it does start becoming the racing line as soon as they start fanning out. But hopefully at the moment that's not going to cause any delays or safety car period, and they will run at the moment as long as it doesn't start migrating towards that racing line.
Oh, 100%, and well, in the meantime, just to add a little bit more complexity to this race, a track limits warning, black and white flag for number 4 of Northridge, our 7th place runner. Here comes our marshal, going to retrieve it very quickly, and there goes the orange army. Brilliant work from them, and well, they won't quite be doing the infamous marshal diving through the pit wall that we saw at Miami in the Formula 1 quite recently, but big shout out to that marshal for retrieving that debris. But half the race complete, half still to go, and we have the top 6 glued together. We're 7th place runner just a bit further behind. Then we go Bond, Tuffin, and Davies got to leave that top 10, and Davies has not been able to stabilise that 8th place, not been able to really make a break there. So you've got 2 packs now as we see the second pack coming through, and that is Bond at the head of it.
It certainly is just one of those times where you've just got 2 races happening, and you've just got to race the cars that are around you. Good to see Georgie Tuffin right up there in that battle. Great to see her back into the lead group at some point soon. Just seeing all the progression of all these drivers. Like I say, sometimes you just get these breaks where it could be a spin or someone going wide, and it just breaks the pack up. There is Georgie Tuffin in her Jaws machinery coming down. You can see the teeth on the front there as she comes down, heading into that, and it's Davies just behind her, so our championship leader coming in here just behind her, and yeah, absolutely right up there with everyone. In fact, it was Ollie Smith, wasn't it, who ended up being who's that? Is that Basania? Has he had an issue into the chicane? He's lost his rear wheel up, so maybe he made contact with the tyre barriers or something like that, tyre stacks?
I suspect potentially so, but as he makes way down, it's very unfortunate there. But meanwhile, well, the second half of the field carries on. That's your number 62 of Georgie Tuffin, now up into 7th place. Davies moves up to 8th as a result. It's a bit of a promotion there, so 1 driver's loss is plenty of other drivers gain. Some extra points to them, but understandably there's still plenty of fighting to come. Speaking of which, that second pack is now splitting into 2, because that side by side, a lot of understeer there coming down where the crane occurred, and we'll just about survive that. My goodness me, that was your number 14 of Kennedy, and well, Kennedy almost turning his Caterham into a rally car there, but doing well to manage that speed. Just to show you just how much the car was throwing around through that sequence of bends as we come back to the front of the second pack. And well, Tuffy's got an unbelievable task to hold on to 7th place, and with it, it would be only her 3rd top 10 of the season.
Yeah, absolutely, but being up there and thereabouts in the battling as well. As we see a sideways car there, the number 9 was absolutely on the rig of the edge. Fisher, he saw him making some spaces up a couple of laps back, and you can see now Davies is ahead of Tuffin right at the front of this, so he's had to fight all the way to the front of the group, having to the extreme inside line to do the defence. He knows how to do that, but he's got a significant gap now in front of him, so maybe this position is as far as he's going to go. They all get perilously close to that tyre stack as well. It's so easy to grab, something just to oversteer, and then a slight grab of the front wheels, and hit that, and obviously that's going to win a battle against the Caterham for sure. Taking corner of the car off. Georgie Tuffin to the outside, they're not necessarily going to carry the momentum around the outside. We saw Davies able to defend tighter and against the lead pack throughout the course of that first race, so he knows how to defend, and I think that's what he's going to do for the remainder of this track, and he's just going to rely on other people having issues. That 7th place, which towards the end of the year might seem like it's still a drop score, but hopefully you don't know, there's so many races between now and the end of the season, you've just got to grab every single point you can.
Oh, 100%, and for Richard Davies in particular, given that 19th in the second race at Spa, and then a 10th earlier today, right now that 19th you'll think, right, I've got to lock that into my drop score, and that 10th, he's going to be thinking, so I can maybe I'll get away with that, but probably I don't want to risk it, so therefore he's really got to get to the grindstone at the moment and make sure that 7th at least is his. If there are any more retirements or incidents up front, it could promote him towards the top 5, but right now Davies definitely a risk, not necessarily losing the championship with the Sunday coming into the pit lane, but there is a risk that the overall gap, bearing in mind of course that it was 13 points in Davies to the Sunday coming into this race meet, and then the field was very tight behind with Oliver Smith and Carl Townend only at 3 points behind in total. We could see that top 4 essentially suddenly have no gap in it.
Suddenly it appears to have, yeah, absolutely evaporates nothing. Just like we see the gaps evaporate to nothing in the racing, you have 1 or 2 bad results, and then the gaps evaporate in the championship as well. Yeah, they will be progressing through towards the middle part of the season already, won't they? It's amazing how quickly once the season gets going, you work your way through the events, but there's still plenty of races, as we say, to go. So it's double yellow peril at the front as they go down into the old hairpin. That time still ahead of Townend. Is that right way round it? So you think was right, but either way, they are the double yellow machines. They've been stuck together for pretty much the entirety of this race. Front 2 though have battled away a little bit, haven't they? Oliver Smith managed to carry Heinrich Boston Miller with him, and they've got a little bit of a comfort gap behind, just enough to start making yourself feel like, oh, we might actually be able to make more of this if we work together.
Oh, indeed, and well, that philosophy definitely working out in their favour, but with only a quarter of the race remaining come the end of this lap, will we start to see that temporary truce suddenly turn into a bit of a battle between them? I suspect so. Yeah, they come down once again, but they definitely are both really locking into this race right now and focusing on, oh, parked on cars to 55, that's Walsh there who is parked up, and that looks to be on the exit of the old hairpin.
Yeah, Ollie Walsh there, the car's stopped, isn't it, and it's in an awkward place, and that might well see a safety car, and if it is a safety car, that also might be the end of racing laps for this race. So let's keep an eye on what we do have live snatch opportunity with a single car. That might be something they will look to do. Certainly with 4 minutes left, it'd be a shame to neutralise this battle, but safety is the primary concern. Therefore, we will just watch out what's happening. But nevertheless, we've still got Smith. Smith's got a lick of pace in that car. He's got a nice gap over Watson Miller. He's able to pull away, even though Watson Miller's got the toe, so it does look like he's got the speed in that car. This chase pack have upset themselves, and whatever happened with Fasania as well has caused that gap to extend, as then we've got the chase pack just a little bit further behind, still headed by Davies on Tuffin in that battle. Emerson, Hicks and Fisher as well, rounding out that sort of chase pack of cars. We've had another fantastic race from the Roadsports. 4 minutes left on the clock, and still no sign yet of any kind of recovery or issue with the safety car being deployed, but let's keep an eye out for that as we see the 2 yellow cars still absolutely side by side. The number 99 of Matt Fox is ahead of Townend just for the time being, but it looks like that might reverse again. It's Northbridge in a slightly paler yellow card just following on behind him.
Oh goodness me, Northbridge right now wanting to have to hold on to that position. It has to cut to the inside line in the end, but he gets on the inside there completely. It's a lovely move on Fox. I don't think he planned for it. I think Fox was called out of that, and indeed an accidental pass, but to be fair, we love to see it. 3.5 minutes left to go, and the marshals are pushing away Ollie Walsh's car, so that's going to be removed just in time. Thankfully, no safety car required this one. We get the full 20 minutes full of excitement, and well, Fox will bound to 5th, but I don't think he's going to stop there for long. Meanwhile, we have Ben Oliver at the back end of the 36th battle. So he might win 100. We've seen these splits now of the top 6 into a leading duo. We're on camera here coming for the old hairpin, and then it's the 36th battle. 13 seconds back, we've got Davies, Heather Bond, George Tuffin and Sam Emerson.
Well done, Marshals.
Indeed, well done to the Marshals there. And now that they are on the inside of what used to be the location of the bridge supports of Starkey's Bridge, like from the feature of Donington Park until it was knocked down years later, well, understandably now they don't have as much of a risk there, because it's rare that a driver cuts the inside of that apex. But all the drivers right now have been doing well to respect any yellow flags that are in place at any point. And coming back to the yellow machines, well, zone Northbridge, just feeling a bit of pressure coming out of Cobbs, looks a bit wide. Here comes Fox once again.
Yeah, and it's Carl Townend in front there. Clark, of course, did say that he wouldn't do that live snatch or the marshals out there on track unless he was confident the cars were all behaving themselves. So well done again to the Roadsports for giving him their confidence to do that, and the marshals to get out there. It's not easy to push the car, even though it's only a half-a-ton car. It's not easy to push up a grassy straight. But the lead 2 are definitely back together again, so that battle has reignited itself. And now it's Townend just forced his way clear, hasn't he, over the top of Matt Fox, who's lost his front number plate at some point during that opening part of the race. And Donington, number 80 of Ben Oliver, who's just chasing along back, but the battle for the lead. He is starting to reignite that gap, looked like he was becoming terminal, and Watson Miller is saying, no, absolutely, I am going for this win. He's taken the second place already today, hasn't he? So trying to get that, he was in second, I can't remember, third place, so looking to, he's already in a better place, but let's go take that win as well. There's Ben Oliver on the way up the hill, striking car that one is, but these two yellow cars now suddenly separated just a little bit as they go into this final phase of the race.
Oh, indeed, and after this there'll be one more lap to go, and will we see Oliver Smith essentially trying to almost repeat Spa-Francorchamps by taking 2 podiums but a win this time, or will we see a first-time win for Heinrich Watson Miller? Meanwhile, whilst we can look at the battle for the top 6, there's also, you just saw a brief snapshot of the battle for 7th through to 12th place with Davis, Emerson, Bond, Tuffin, Fisher and Hicks. But then you have the fight for 3rd here, so there's battles everywhere we look, which is fantastic to see. But on to last lap we go. Can Oliver Smith hold on? Can he take that 3rd win of the season? Or will Heinrich Watson Miller be able to take his first win of his own? Here they go, onto that lap. It's going to be Oliver Smith, currently ahead by the best part of 4 tenths a second. That's quite a comfortable gap for him.
He's clinging on with his fingernails though, isn't he? He's still there, he's still on the rear, but he is absolutely having to hang on. Oliver Smith has got just about enough speed in that car to make himself feel a little bit comfortable, but he won't be feeling comfortable as we start this last lap, because Watson Miller only just has to keep hold of that toe as they get to that last straight. Can he do it? He's no doubt about it. There's an absolute fingertip just trying to grab onto the rear of that car and trying to pull him forward. You want someone a fishing rod, don't you, to reel yourself along and just give yourself a little bit. He had to go ever so wide, so he's going to ping a sensor on the exit of Old Hairpin. I think he has to do it at this point to see whether he's got any chance of taking this win. His first win, anything from well outside the top 10 for any other race weekend, and suddenly he's fighting for this win. What a sight as the rest of them are all back together again. Ben Oliver's been called down by the 2 yellows, are absolutely line astern with Northridge, just seeing whether there's anything he can do as well. Clock ticks to 0. When next time across the line, we're going to have to check a flag.
Well, there we are, Chris and Sires, our 2 leaders come through Coppice, and then the rest, they can see also the battle for 7th place right now. Davis, Bond, Emerson, Bishop, all scrambling, but we must leave them be. We come back to the front, and right now Watson Miller looks to the inside. He's too far back. Surely it's not going to be enough, because for Oliver Smith, he was absolutely superb at Spa. It was a 2nd in race 1 today, and here in race number 2, it's Ollie Smith who takes victory ahead of a maiden pair of podiums for Heinrich Watson Miller. Then who will be 3rd? This is going to be very close. They found out, and it is going to be Matthew Fox, who just brings it home by a 10th. Oh, somebody's in the gravel there. That looks like to be Fasanya, unless I'm mistaken. Well, it's a green machine. It may not be Fasanya, to be fair. We'll come back to that very shortly. We did see Fox ahead of Oliver, then Townley complete the top 5 ahead of Northridge, who will be 7th, and in the runs line it's going to be Bond who brings home 7th place just ahead of Davies, and then it will be Emerson and Fisher completing the top 10. Emerson and Fisher joined at the hip all day today, to be fair. Tuffin will take home 11th place ahead of Hicks, then Kenny Dyson, and it will be French and Wilson who complete that top 15.
We will see them in the next time in July at Six.
That'll be absolutely fantastic to see. And well, as we wrap up the time at Donington, here are the results from round number 8, the provisional results that is, for the 2026 Bilstein Caterham Roadsport Championship, brought to you today from the heart of motorsport in the UK. And we saw Oliver Smith bring home his 3rd win of the season after 15 laps of racing, constantly chased down by Heinrich Watson Miller, who was clawing onto the back of him, but in the end it was not enough for the 47 driver, who brought home his 2nd in a maiden pair of podiums this season. And given how his season started, he won't be complaining at that. Well, of course he will complain a little bit. He wanted the win. He couldn't quite get it in the end. But still, it's looking good for him. And then in 3rd, Matthew Fox in a 4-wide finish. In the end, Matthew Fox taking that 3rd place by a grand total of 24 hundredths ahead of Ben Oliver, Carl Townend and Richard Northridge. You couldn't ask for closer. John Bond took 7th place there ahead of Richard Davies, just at line by 200ths. It was Sam Emerson and Stephen Vischer who completed your top 10. Fastest lap of the race being set by none other than your number 80 driver of Ben Oliver on a 1 minute 20.96.
Hello.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a day. What a day. P2 earlier, P1 today. You know, you can't really do, well, you can do much better, you can't get another win, you know, but, you know, what do I know? Talk me through your day then. How have you enjoyed racing around here at Donington Park?
Oh, it's brilliant. So I live in Warwickshire, and it's sort of my closest track probably. And yeah, it's great. I've been here a few times. This morning's, well, I suppose just after lunch, our race, the safety car and everything. It's a bit of a shame, but yeah, that race, I was like, I got a gap. I was like, okay, please. Let's just go and not make any mistakes. And I managed to bring it home. Heinrich did get close a few times. Yeah, great day.
Well, like you said, you are sort of like in between, I guess, here in Silverstone, Warwickshire's kind of like in the midst.
Silverstone. In a Caterham.
Oh, okay, right. I'm about to say, Donington's, well, you can't really compare the two, can you? One's flow and one's completely flat as a pancake.
We're just a bit slow for Silverstone, I think. You know, the long straights is sort of counting the time. Although that being said, we were at Spa a couple of weeks ago, and obviously we've got Kimmel there, and yeah, that was still mega. So
lovely. And then looking ahead, it's your 4th round. You've got round 5 coming up in July. What are your thoughts ahead of it? Are you excited for it? I mean, this is great momentum to take into it, isn't it? Get some water down. You get some.
Ultimately, this is my hobby. You know, it doesn't matter that much. I'm here to have fun and just have a good time, do my best. So it's great.
Ollie, like I say, get some water, be hydrated. It's really hot in those cars. The 310 hours are out on track, but I will just talk you through it again. Lovely camaraderie between the drivers here. We had P1 for Ollie Smith, P2 was Heinrich Watson Miller, and P3 was Matt Fox. He won by almost a second in the end, so not a bad day in the office for Ollie Smith. And I'm going to pan back over now to my friends in commentary because the 310R cars are out behind me. So boys, over to you.
Hello, welcome back into the garage for race 2 debrief and well, damage report, I guess. Obviously you've seen the race by now. So race, obviously starting from pole after race 1's win, and then gave the lead away too cheaply at the start of the race, making the same mistake I had been making in race 1, but this time not quite getting away with it, which was to just leave myself vulnerable and leave too much space on the inside of Coppice. Something that Heinrich particularly was really, really good at all weekend was his kind of exit out of McLaren's and to have the run on the inside of Coppice. And I should have learned from race 1. And I guess this is part of the jeopardy of having 2 races in one day. There was no time to chill out with a cup of tea and watch the race back and see where I was kind of going right and where I was going wrong. But that kind of put me into the P3, P4 fight, where I stayed for pretty much the whole race. And it was loads of fun, absolutely loads of fun. The collision with Mitch at roughly the halfway point, that was unfortunate. You kind of got the feeling going into that chicane it was going to happen at some point between a couple of cars. Mitch was really fair about the whole thing. He said, look, it wasn't really a move. It was more just a case of, suddenly found himself running out of track on the brakes. And the stewards did look at it, and the stewards kind of agreed with that. And because, unfortunately for Mitch, he did put himself out of the race through that. He had a secondary contact with the tyre wall. And the stewards, he said, look, no further action. Kind of, it was a self-administered punishment, as it were. The hit on me was on my right rear, and although the car looks pretty severe at the moment, it's not bad. There's no real damage. The wing was still hanging on at the end of the race, and if you're not aware, we're encouraged to use these kind of sacrificial nylon bolts, and they largely did their jobs by shearing off and protecting the aluminium skin, with one exception. The trailing one here, the riv nut pulled through the skin. I've got a couple of choices there. Either put like a bigger riv nut in, or maybe just revert to the standard washer and nut arrangement. But that's all fine. I've had the strings on the car. Did that yesterday, and the rear alignment was out by a hair. There was, well within sort of tolerance, and I would have happily raced the car again on those measurements. But since I'm here and I've got time, I will get that shimmed back to where I need it to be. So yeah, after the collision, that then locked sort of Matt and I. So obviously the secondary impact was I then clattered into Matt, who did a very brave move to go sort of too wide through the chicane. And then I had a great ding dong with Matt, and then again to repeat that side by side through the chicane on the last lap. We managed to get through without touching each other, which was a miracle. But we both heavily compromised our exits, which brought Ben and Rich Northridge onto the back of us. And then we got that kind of photo finish, 4 cars over the line. You know, you can't ask more excitement than that, can you? So although it was a shame to ultimately lose a podium and finish the race in 5th, you know, what a race. You know, really enjoyed it, and I won't let the end result spoil what was a fantastic 20 minutes of racing. So yeah, a few lessons to learn. You know, I need to, particularly on these one-day events, I need to find time to at least have some sort of retrospective of where did I lose places, where did I gain places, and try to carry that learning forward into race 2. But other than that, you know, pretty happy with it. The launch wasn't great by my standards. Did manage to just about hold the lead after turn 1, and then after that, the racing with Matt was pretty happy with that. Yeah, it was just good fun all around. So onto the kind of post-race tinkering. I've talked already about the alignment on the back and the wing damage. But aside from that collision, the car took quite a lot of damage during the Donington race weekend. I think I touched on it during testing, but I lost both front wings with no contact. They just flew off during testing. My light clusters are absolutely knackered. I mean, you can see the indicator there. And you could just about make this out on camera, but this is all that's moving as I'm touching it. There's chunks of glass keep falling out, so they all need taping up. Same on the other side. Windscreen. This was the windscreen I put in before the racing even started last year. It's not my original screen that came with the car because that's a heated item. That's safely lobbed in a corner over there. It's probably broken by now, but it's up there. This is just a plain glass one. And I think pretty much everybody else on the grid has been through 1 or even 2 or even 3 windscreens. Somehow, this was my original screen, and somehow it's survived this far. And if you consider most cars are going to go on to 270 or maybe even 310 next year, the windscreen only has to get through the end of this year. But yeah, I mean, I can see that crack's already propagated down to the bottom of the glass. So this needs swapping. I need to get that swapped. But yeah, Donington proved to be quite a brutal racetrack. I managed to avoid the gravel. I mean, even here, look, all the paint chipped off the mirror stairs. But yeah, I managed to stay out of the gravel. But it's the sort of track. It's very, very fast circuit, goads you on. But they are very punishing gravel traps, and quite a few cars through testing, through the race, through qualifying, did venture through the gravel, which of course brings it onto the track and into the path of other cars, which is why I've taken such a clobbering. So yeah, it's kind of, I've always been quite fortunate with how clean my car looks. But suddenly it started to look very tired after Donington, you know, starting to get gravel rash down the side at the bottom of the vinyl wrap. And yeah, it was going to happen at some point, but I think this Donington was definitely a turning point for the car. Other spannering news, I mentioned my racing driver excuse for spinning at Spa. This has been much, much, much better. As soon as we started testing at Donny, I got a much crisper feel from my throttle blips from what I'd been used to recently. And I had no problem rev matching all through the weekend. So yeah, it's nice that hopefully that's behind me. So yeah, really satisfying little fix there. And that's about it, I think. I don't think I've got anything else to battery. You're probably wondering why there's a random battery just lobbed on my engine bay. So this is today's development. Or last night's development. I did all the fluids last night. I was kind of do it every other race weekend. And then to get oil pressure back into the oil filter, I like to crank the car without the coils attached. And it was really struggling to crank, and then my oil pressure gauge when the car was running was flickering all over the place, which was unnerving. So I put the car on the trickle charge overnight, and when I came down this morning, it was still charging. It should have been in maintenance mode after a whole night of being on trickle, but it was still charging. It had what I would consider healthy voltage, but I went to start the car this morning and it wouldn't even start. So I've taken the battery off, as you can see. It's still on trickle, seeing if I can rescue it. And this is an old one out of the 211. which the reason it's not in the 211 is because I actually suspected this one was going dodgy because the 211 gave me some problems a few weeks ago. So I put what I consider a dodgy battery on, and the car cranked like it's never cranked before. It fired up in a really healthy manner. So yeah, that battery is definitely on its arse, which is interesting timing because just as the Donington weekend was kicking off, we got a technical bulletin from Caterham saying that the banner batteries, these old batteries, are no longer available, and they're written into regs. You've got to run that battery. You can't just put any old thing in. So the technical bulletin was to say, look, the regs have been amended mid-season because they are no longer available, and the replacement is a lightweight lithium battery, which of course for some people will have a competitive advantage to fitting one because they're lighter. For me, not so much. I'm on the weight limit anyway, so when I do put a lithium battery in to replace that, I'm just going to have to put ballast in the car anyway. So it's neither here nor there, but the timing is interesting because that seems to have died right at the moment where the transition is happening. So I need to see if I can get a hold of the new battery. Anyway, very long debrief. I thought you might appreciate some technical jibber jabber because I don't do this anywhere near enough. Alton Park next. I will report in from there. A track I love. I've never driven it in the Caterham yet. Driven it a couple of times in this and other cars in the past. Do like Alton Park. Looking forward to getting there. And I am next there on a track day in a week today at time of recording, which means nothing to you because you're watching and you've got no idea what day it is. So I will talk to you from Alton. In the meantime, thanks for sticking with me. See you there.